Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for making it. Really appreciate seeing all of you. Some of you I haven't seen for a very long time, so you're probably wondering who the guy is with the big hair and can't close his jacket. Well, over the years I picked up a few pounds, so sometimes that happens. Man, this is tough. So I'm gonna start with 2 points. I prepared some remarks that I hope that all of us take with us and we can kind of share. But just in case I can't get through, number 1, live with purpose. Number 2, do the best you can with what you have where you are. Okay. So I know that we're not going to focus on how my brother died. Okay. The cause of his death was an illness called depression. A couple people have talked about that now. And we need to make sure that we understand that depression is not simply sadness, but that it is something that we need to take seriously, and we need to care for ourselves and others that we love. Okay? Now, the interesting part about that is that the first post that I made about my brother, people that are close to me, that are here, I definitely appreciate seeing all of you. They definitely shared some words. Then you start seeing some folks that I didn't know, and I'm like, oh man, this is huge, his impact. And you start seeing women I didn't know saying, oh, I love you, you were the love of my life. I'm like, whoa. He really had an impact. But I just want to say, I know that the stakes are too high for most of us here in this world. And whether we make hundreds of thousands a month, and I know some folks that are doing that, are making hundreds a month, just getting by. Many of us walk a tightrope just trying to live a decent life. Now, it seems that so many people I know are just trying to survive, whether that's through poor health or income insecurity. So many people have just not a lot of margin. And on top of all that, we feel this deep desire in our soul for significance. Well, with the stakes being so high, many of us feel that we can't withstand another loss or another failure. I know because I felt that too. A couple years ago, I didn't even know. I learned that I was in a high-functioning state of depression that lasted over a year. And it was real hard on everyone around me, including my wife and my son and my parents. And everything felt like it was going wrong and the world was against me. The thing that got me through was finally gratitude. Gratitude for what I have, for the love around me, the people around me. Okay. Now, being grateful for life and grateful for love. Now, I wish I had shared more of that with my brother Zachary. He felt that he was alone oftentimes. He felt the weight of the world was on his shoulders, and he felt that he hadn't succeeded in life. He didn't share with me these things that some of these things he shared with some of you. I know Pastor Calvin, I know you guys talked every day. And I think a lot of it was because he just wanted me to be proud of him. He thought very highly of me, and I thought very highly of him, but I don't know that he heard that. And sometimes that's what depression will do. You won't hear the love, you won't hear the kind words, you won't hear how much people care about you and how much people love you. I've always been proud of him and in all of his talent and creativity. I wish I had shared with him more how much success really feels like failure. So for a lot of us, it just seems like, man, things aren't going along, but there's a guy that I met when I lived in Florida briefly. And one thing he told me, I think I might have been 20 years old, and he said, look, just stay alive, just make it to the next day. And at the time, I really didn't understand what he meant. I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, but, these bills gotta get paid, different things. I got all these grand plans for my life, and I'm working hard at that, but as I got older, I had started to understand what that meant. If you read any biography of any successful person you admire, talk to anybody that you look up to in your family, they will tell you, life has not been a crystal stair, but you know what? You still go up those stairs, okay? Now, our ability to fail and get back up and try again and again and again is not simply what makes us human, but it's what affirms our dignity and our ability to be creators of our own destiny. And it's the proof that we are not simply animals, but we are image bearers of Yahweh. Now, just to kind of borrow some words from Michelle Obama, I agree with her in saying that one of the worst questions we can ask a child is, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because we are all simply becoming. Like Zachary said in his song, Live My Life, none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes and we all continue to grow. We all experience many phases of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Sometimes it seems all at once. Sometimes it seems one thing after another, but we are all becoming. Becoming what we feel, becoming what we see, becoming who we were purposed to be, while at the same time fulfilling that purpose. So I think Zachary, I know Zachary felt like he was, kind of lost and not sure what his purpose was, but he didn't know. And if you heard through a lot of these people today that have shared some of these stories, that he was fulfilling his purpose. On his search for purpose, that's what Zachary needed to know. And that's what I want you to know, and I want you to take with you. That your significance that you desire comes from God within you. Now, Aunt Carolyn, I gotta tell you a real quick story. Try to tell a joke. The reason why we call her Aunt Carolyn, even though she is my mom's godmother, is because at the time she said she was too young to have grandkids, so you gotta call her Aunt Carolyn. So because of that, we have Aunt Carolyn and our cousin Joy, and they made these green ribbons. Now, she made them because green was Zachary's favorite color. And as we started researching a little bit more, we found out that green is also a color used in ribbons for awareness. You know how they have pink ribbons for breast cancer awareness and different things like that. Well, green was actually, has been used as a color for an awareness for mental health, for depression and manic depression, and several other things that relate to mental health. And the little jewel inside of the ribbon represents the sanctity of life and the preciousness of Zachary's life. And it is, it just means so much to have these ribbons. In the weeks before he died, my brother felt like there was a whole lot just working against him. And I don't think anybody really had any idea of how much he felt the pressure of life. He had lost love, as well as he was falsely accused of sexual assault with someone he had never had any kind of sexual contact with, also with someone who was in a romantic relationship with his roommate. So that was the way that they decided they wanted to, fight about whose place it was and who should be living there and who was in control. And because of that, Zachary had gone through a lot of things dealing with employment that really it just felt like things were not going well for him. But he had applied to become a fireman, and if you hear some of these stories and if you knew Zachary, it seems like the perfect job. Well, during that application process, he felt that these accusations, although I continued to assure him that, hey, look, this is going to go away, don't worry, just focus on the next step. I think it weighed on him more than he actually admitted to any of us. Well, Pastor Calvin let me know a couple of days ago that just a few hours later he would have found out that he didn't get the job. And so I just wanted to tell him right now, bro, you did it. And I was debating whether I wanted to share the story, but I want all of you to know that if we could just make it just the next day and just focus on the next step, that's life. Sometimes it is hard, and I know there's a lot of stuff going around where people are, talking about how easy things should be, but in reality, it's not always that easy. Now, there are a couple things that I did skip over, but I'll just go straight to some of the points that I have because I would like for us to be able to take away, and I appreciate my brother Mo for recording this because we really want to be active and really help other people before it gets to this, but especially families after, okay? So one of the things I want all of us to take away with us is that know that you matter, that your contribution to this world matters. Most important and above all, that your life matters. I said it before, do the best you can with what you have where you are. Take the next step. Sometimes our goals are so big, and you're so ambitious that it feels like, man, what am I doing? You know, I'm not accomplishing. You see people to the left of you, to the right of you, it seems like they're doing great things. Well, you don't really know what's going on, but just focus on taking the next step for you. Zachary had several next steps laid out, and that's been really hard on my brother Mo, because they were working on a lot of things together. And it's just, if you just focus on the next step, you would be able to hear, bro, you did it. Talk with candor. Be real with your family and your friends. Let them know what's really going on. Let them know you're hurting, why you're hurting, how you actually feel, how you really feel. And also talk to professionals. Now, in the African American community, it's something that a lot of us don't embrace the resources that we have available. And for some of us, it is not affordable as well. But with that, we have to remember that we have people around us that love us and that would love to hear what's going on so they can then reflect and tell us about all the things that are actually going right. Listen. Just take a few more minutes each day to be an ear for whoever it is, whether it's a spouse, a friend, a brother, a sister, somebody that you just encounter just by chance. And let's stop calling folks crazy. You know, there are things that we really deal with that any of us, it would feel like, man, it's driving me crazy. Maybe you voiced that yourself, or maybe you've kept that inside. But we need to make sure that we take care of our brothers and sisters and the people that we love. And I have to say this, you need to vote. You need to vote. You need to register, you need to organize, you need to advocate for more resources. If you think that voting has nothing to do with the death of Zachary and the lack of resources in our community for mental health and mental awareness, you are wrong. The people that we put in office and the bills and the legislation that we support, or in a lot of cases we don't support and we don't show that we care about, these are the things that really decide how these resources are divided, how they get to our communities, who gets access to these. When you look at healthcare, we need to not just fight for access to healthcare, but for full healthcare for all, including mental health. And lastly, this is for Zachary that we can take, all of us. Be kind. We are all feeling some type of pressure and some type of pain. Be the one to help other people, even if it's simply through kindness. And I would say, let's not, just plan out random acts of kindness, but let's live in an orientation of kindness. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate that. I'm not here to deliver the eulogy, but I want to share love with all of you, especially with my parents and my family. And I love you, brother. Rest in peace, brother.
Losing my mind, going crazy. Had a dream I was pushing up daisies. Used to wrap the black flag with the paisley. I was walking on water, now I'm like Jesus save me. Haters be hating on another level. See you down and out, they hand you a shovel. Reaching for God, they get pulled by the devil. Evil's ever present, so I still ain't heavy metal. Every day a different struggle, but I still push. Ain't gotta pour up, ain't gotta hit the cush. Demons run on, hit 'em with that juice, Reggie Bush. Grinding every day while others sitting on their tush. I just wanna live right, tryna be that light. Don't believe that hype, you ain't got life if you don't know Christ. I'm just tryna live my life, never been perfect, made lots of mistakes. Swimming in the ocean with the sharks, walking through the field full of snakes. Growing up, always misunderstood. Too bad for the good, too good for the hood. Try me if you want a boy. Hey, I wish you would. I'm just trying to live my life. 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 I'm just trying to live my life.